From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. The U.S. Air Force has released their draft environmental impact statement regarding the status and future of the 18th Aggressor Squadron.
The EIS finds the preferred alternative is to relocate the F-16 jets to Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson near Anchorage based on cost-saving assumptions. Earlier today, Governor Sean Parnell expressed deep concern regarding the findings of the report. Parnell said a decision in a state referring to Alaska that borders two countries and is roughly 1/5 the size of the lower 48 is unconscionable. Democrat Senator Mark Begich also weighed in on the findings of the EIS. Begich urged residents to understand the draft EIS is not the final decision for Eielson and public input is still being sought.
Really just keep in mind this is a draft. This is not the decision document. There's a lot more work to be done, and the most important is the strategic plan that General Carlisle is working on, because that's really going to define how we fit into the national defense of this country, and that's going to trump anything in these kinds of reports, and that's what we're focused on.
Earlier today, Governor Sean Parnell issued a state disaster declaration for Galena and other communities affected by major spring flooding. The declaration sets in motion at least $1 million in state disaster recovery funds. Meanwhile, at Pioneer Park, state and local officials met with evacuees affected by the flooding, giving updates on the situation. Alaska Homeland Security Deputy Director Mike O'Hare credited numerous organizations and agencies for their response, but says much work still needs to be done. Other organizations and agencies are coming together to help residents with clothing, food, and other items they say are needed for the long haul. Many are left asking when they'll be able to return home, but O'Hare says that is still up in the air.
A very tenuous situation. The water just started slowing down and depleting yesterday. So the water's going down yesterday, still going down today. It's still wet in the community. There's a lot of hazardous materials, some oil spills and the like. Our issue at this point and our concern at this point is to make sure those in the community that are still there are safe and well taken care of, because they're starting to work on the process of identifying some of the damages.
We can do what we can to put together a relief effort here, but the bottom line is the long-term plan on how we're going to get these the people back to their homes and how we're going to help coordinate to have their community rebuilt. This is not a TCC tribal effort. This is a community effort.
Despite the flooding situation, the judicial process continues in and around Galena. Only Fairbanks is handling the workload. The Rabinowitz Courthouse downtown Fairbanks will begin taking on the responsibilities of the courthouse in the village of Galena beginning June 3rd on a temporary basis. That's according to an Alaska Court System news release. The Galena Courthouse handles cases from Galena, Tanana, Huslia, Ruby, Koyukuk, Nulato, and Caltag. The court magistrate Chris McLean oversees the Galena Courthouse. We caught up with him today for comment.
It's great. The Galena Court's being serviced out of Fairbanks here. I'm still going to fly into the outlying villages like I always do, and but our community's here, and so until we can get back to Galena and rebuild, we'll be here together.
Athabascan elder Katie John of Montesta Lake died early today at the Alaska Native Medical Center in Anchorage. John, believed to be 98 years old, was the lead plaintiff in a well-known 1985 lawsuit that strengthened Native subsistence fishing rights in Alaska. In 2011, John received an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from the University of Alaska Fairbanks to recognize her advocacy of indigenous rights and her ongoing efforts as a teacher of culture and language. Among other achievements, she helped create the alphabet for the Ahtna dialect of Athabascan.
All right, and Mike Schultz is joining us for our first look at weather. Mike.
Boy, what can I say except that once again we're looking at beautiful weather. It was this way all this week and it's going to continue through the weekend. In fact, you could be part of a record today being set. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Take a look at temperatures around the interior right now. Once again, very consistent, 82 degrees at Fort Wainwright, Fairbanks, Allison Air Force Base, a little cooler around Delta Junction. They've got some showers and thunderstorms in the area, 81 degrees at North Pole. Nenana, 80 degrees and a 74-degree reading in Denali Park. Again, there are showers scattered throughout the area. In the lower 48, it is a bad day for all of Oklahoma and all of the Central Plains. We'll tell you about that and all the weather when we come back later on. Daryl, Stephanie?
Thank you, Mike. When we come back, find out what it takes to be a Soroptimist.
And it's Friday, time for our weekly garden report. Those stories are next. Stay with us. And welcome back. A 35-year-old North Pole man is in jail for the alleged rape of an unidentified woman Thursday. Matthew Kaleli is charged with first-degree sexual assault and felony assault in the second degree. During a brief arraignment hearing this afternoon in Fairbanks District Court, Judge Alice Mary Rasley set a no-bail status in his case. Alaska State troopers received a report of the alleged incident they say took place in the South Pegger Road area. Troopers say Kaleli and the woman, identified in court records as J.S., were acquaintances and had known each other for several years. The woman says after the alleged assault, Kaleli contacted her, later admitted to the assault, and apologized for what he had done.
Now that the heat is here and everything is turning green, we can think about planting our crops. Here's Michelle Hebert with our weekly garden report.
Sun is shining, our frost-free days are here now, so it's time to move those transplants into the garden. There's a lot of crops that won't grow to full maturity in the short growing season we have. So it's important to either grow your own transplants or buy them locally. This would be things such as cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli, squash. You should grow plants that are about a month to 6 weeks old. When selecting a plant, make sure it's not too big and too root bound. Okay, now we're ready to go to the garden. Go ahead and take those sticks off and rake your bed and mix in some fertilizer. My choice is organic fertilizers, which are good for the plants and good for the soil, and it's harder to burn the plants. So if you're a beginner garden, they're easier to use. Now go ahead and dig a hole about 4 to 6 inches deep. Put your plant in, and before you put that soil in, give the plants a weak fertilizer solution drenched all over the roots. This will help the plants get an early start and grow bigger throughout the growing season. Now fill it with dirt, compact it slightly, and you're ready to plant the next one. Your plants should be put from 12 to 18 inches apart. This way they won't fight with each other for water and fertilizer and your plants will get big. Now that you're finished planting, it's time to give them even a better start by covering them with a little mini greenhouse. You can do this easily with some PVC pipe. I use 7-foot long pieces that I get pre-cut from the local lumber company. And then you stick them in 8 to 6 inches deep on either side. You've made now a little mini greenhouse and you cover that with plastic. Staple it along the sides of your boxes and you're ready to go. Keep that there for about a month. If the weather is a little hot, you can actually open it up and let a little cool air come in. But at night, they'll keep the plants warm and growing good. Well, this has been Michelle Hebert with your weekly garden tip. Please join me next week when I'll have some more ideas for getting those containerized gardens going.
Gardening tips brought to you by Fairbanks Stump Grinders.
We told you previously about Soroptimist International holding its regional conference on a cruise ship in Alaska this year. News Center 11's Monty Bowen went along for the ride and has more on the story.
About 350 members of Soroptimist International from all over the world, some from the Fairbanks Club, were on board the celebrity cruise ship Solstice for the 7-day event. Soroptimist does business in 6 different languages, but taking part in a session that represents a few states is a reality check.
Because when you deal at the global level, of course, the local, you can't lose sight of it because the collective impact of our local clubs is what makes us who we are.
Even though Soroptimist is well known for its fight against sex trafficking, the subject has been broadened to include all violence.
Now domestic violence being our issue has grown to trafficking, domestic violence, all gender-related violence. It's all violence against women in different forms, and every time I go to the United Nations to meetings, there's yet another kind of violence.
The future of the organization may depend on finding some new directions.
There's bigger issues, there's more work to be done, and we need to do it differently. We may need to do it smarter.
People wanting information about Soroptimist can go online to soroptimist.org. You can also call 347-4414 for information about the Fairbanks Club. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
Hello.
Hello, Joe.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Oh, man. Exciting time in sports right now with the sun out, baseball, softball, all that.
Oh, yeah. Tonight we have results from the first games of the state softball and baseball tournaments down in Anchorage, and we're going to find out who is still playing and whose season is over. Also, we update you on the local race schedule that has a bit of a wrench in it. So stay tuned for sports. Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here. And the sports sheet for you this evening is TGIF. So let's kick off the weekend with some sports. The ASAA First National Bank Alaska State Baseball Tournament featured Lathrop and West Valley, who are making their 7th appearances in the tourney this year. It didn't go their way. Lathrop fell last night to South Anchorage in a close 2-0 decision. Max Carnos for South was in command, striking out 12 Malamutes in a complete game. Lathrop just couldn't get the hits to bring runners home. And today they lost to Ketchikan, last year's second-place team, 12-3 to effectively end Lathrop's season, finishing 8-4 overall after winning the MAC with an 8-2 record. The Wolfpack lost last night as well, taking a 13-3 L to Service, who was the top Cook Inlet Conference team. The Cougars scored in each inning and had 9 hits. In West Valley's second game today, they went up against Colony. Colony won 7-2, ending the Wolfpack season. Today, Tyler Hollister talked about the future of the Malamutes, and Mark Wade was proud of his team and the interior before heading to the state tournament.
We're losing 2 seniors off of this year's team, and we're returning pretty much everybody else. So we're really happy with the way this year went. We came together as a team. The young guys grew up a lot this year, and we've got a very bright future.
They've been in the gym since March at all the high schools, North Pole, Lathrop, Monroe, all of them, Delta. So these kids, you know, you got to give them credit. They do something different than what a lot of kids in the rest of the United States don't have to do. And I'm proud of all the kids. And, you know, they play with a lot of passion. All these teams play with a lot of passion, and, you know, it makes it fun for us coaches.
In the state softball tournament at the Carty Fields in Anchorage, the West Valley Wolfpack and Hutchinson Hawks both played their opening round games this morning. West Valley was shut out 8-0 by West Anchorage. Last year's second-place team, the Hutchinson Hawks, a second-year team in the small schools tournament, had to make some late adjustments with the coaching change. Megan Sykes helped start the program, but had to leave with her husband, who's in the military, due to a transfer. Jason Jacobs became the coach, and they showed they still have to make some strides. The Hawks fell to Ketchikan 24-0. The Kings were last year's third-place team. The Wolfpack and the Hawks go into the consolation bracket. Now, the #1 Mid-Alaska team, the Allison Ravens, found themselves against Sitka, who was won the last 3 state titles. Talk about an opening round matchup. The Ravens could not stop the Sitka dynasty, losing 16-1. But the undefeated Lathrop Malamutes keep it going against South Anchorage today, winning 5-1. The Malamutes improved to 19-0 and move on to the semifinals, facing West Anchorage this evening. And also this evening, Einstein will face Hutchinson in the consolation bracket, and West Valley will play South Anchorage. Now for the interior race fan, you'll have to wait another week for some racing action. The Greater Fairbanks Racing Association announced yesterday that races scheduled for tonight and tomorrow have been canceled due to track conditions at Mitchell Raceway. This weekend's competition was going to feature the quarter midget and gladiator classes, but that'll have to wait. The first races of the season back on the 24th did have some track issues. Crews were watering down and grooming the track throughout the opener. GFRA officials stated that the track has worsened this week. One of the winners on opening day said it's more about the driving skills than the track.
It's more driving than the cars. It's, you know, the track conditions change from week to week, so we got to learn to adapt to them.
And for the farthest north paved track, the North Pole Speedway season opener isn't until next week, June 6th. The rookie-only practice will be on the 4th, and the general open practice will be on the 5th. But the kickoff party for the season is tomorrow from 11 to 4 at the North Pole Speedway. And it seems that our area golf courses are getting in condition for a busy summer. The Chena Bend Golf Course on Fort Wainwright will be open this weekend. All the regular greens are available to play except for holes 3 and 4. The Fairbanks Golf Course is also open from 8 to 8. The driving range is open during that time as well, and the regular greens are still not playable, so the temporary greens are still being used. And a final score during the sportscast that just came in, West Valley has defeated South Anchorage in the first game of the consolation bracket of the state softball tournament, 10-9 in extra innings. The Wolfpack playing for pride. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, welcome back once again to the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you for a look at the weather. Are you ready for a great weekend? Because it looks like it's going to be fantastic. Lots of sunshine and temperatures close to the 80-degree mark. Couldn't ask for better. So a lot of good opportunities to get things done and get some activities too. Here's our photograph for tonight. This one is sent in by Stephen Labate, hope I pronounced the name right. A beautiful sunset taken at Fort Wainwright. Gorgeous colors there. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, please send it to me at ktvf11.com. I need some more photographs to share with the audience. Here's our numbers, and we are part of a record. There's the record high, 84 in 1958 previously. But our high today, 85, so we broke the record. 82 right now at the airport. Sunrise and sunset works out to 20 hours and 28 minutes of daylight, a gain of 5 minutes from yesterday. And our wind's a little gusty out of the west at 15 miles per hour. On the satellite and radar, you can see a little bit of shower activity across the Alaska Range, but it's all drifting down to the south. So we're not looking for anything tonight. It should be a very nice evening. And then more activity moving across the southern sections of Alaska. In fact, our map showing a little bit of rain falling around the Juneau area. Cloudy skies at Ketchikan, also cloudy skies at Kodiak and Cold Bay, and around the Nome area. Otherwise, the rest of the state looking pretty good. A few clouds up in the north slope of Barrow. Nice day at Fort Yukon, 77 degrees. Okay, lower 48, we have a lot to talk about tonight. Once again, more showers over the Pacific Northwest, but a lot of violent weather moving across the Central Plains and over the Gulf Coast states. Here's what it looks like on the satellite and radar. Watch the storms explode over Oklahoma once again, and they've had reports of 5 tornadoes in the Oklahoma City area, and we haven't got any results back yet. But also tornadoes around St. Louis causing problems there, all because of this storm system that just doesn't want to go away. And the overall picture tonight is showing that a tornado threat will continue into Saturday with gust winds of 60 miles per hour, hail to baseball size. Just some really rough weather going on. Now, the overall outlook for early next week, the jet stream, once again, some crinkles in it, which means more weather, but hopefully not severe. Down to the south, it's going to be warm across a large portion of the country, cooler across the Great Lakes. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Looks on the northern sections. Cloudy skies at Barrow, mostly sunny skies for Nome and Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, not too bad. Some isolated thunderstorms are possible around the Healy area with just mainly sunny skies in the Fairbanks area. Over the southeastern sections, showers for Juneau and Ketchikan. And out to the southwest, we're looking at, again, a chance of rain for Bethel, scattered clouds at Cold Bay and Kodiak. And around the south central sections, it looks like showers possible at Homer. Otherwise, cloudy skies in Valdez and Anchorage. Time once again for our pollen count from the folks at the Tanana Valley Clinic. Trees are once again still at high levels and mold at medium levels. The weeds and the grass have not kicked in yet. Only a matter of time. We'll know that from our heads getting clogged up. Here's your forecast for the overnight low of 52 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, a very nice evening. Tomorrow's forecast looking great. A beautiful Saturday, lots of sunshine, high temperature near 80 degrees once again, and the extended forecast calling for temperatures cooling off by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, dropping down to the 70-degree mark, even cooler than that, but still right around where it should be this time of year. We've been so spoiled by the 80-degree temperatures that we're not used to seeing the 60-degree temperatures. Overnight lows will also be cooling off down to around the mid-40s. But a great weekend in store. And you're going somewhere, aren't you?
I am. Hope it doesn't rain in Denali.
Well, it's a hit-miss thing, but pretty good chance that you can nice weather there.
I'm excited about
it. You know what you're going to have, though?
What?
Mosquitoes.
Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Take the proper thing. I've heard that orange peel or lemon peel works pretty good.
I heard that a lime with cloves in it works really well.
You know what I use?
It also keeps people away.
I use off. Yeah, there you go.
Joe.
And he also gets royalties for it, too.
That's right. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I wish. Good one, Joe. All right. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
I got to get it together. Okay, tonight on NBC Nightly News, the latest on extreme weather over much of the nation that's continuing. That's next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
I tell you, the guy can sell it. That will do it from all of us here at the News Center. We're going to leave you tonight with some beautiful shots down at the Golden Heart Plaza. Have a good night, everyone. See you back here at 11.